Hello, my friend. So, today I'm going to help you understand how to live the good life. This will help you to move from being a low consciousness person to a kind of normal person to a kind of self-development-y person to then a high consciousness person. Between this gap, the self-development person and the high consciousness person is like a quantum leap. It is a vertical shift. We're not doing horizontal development anymore. We're doing like vertical level stuff, okay? So I'm going to help you understand what this means. How do you actually live the good life? So here it is, man. The way that you live the good life is you cultivate higher values. Man, this took me so long to accept. I knew that I needed to do things that were more selfless, virtuous, good, truly good, not just good for my ego, but I was scared to give myself over. Because you know what it is, man? When you do this work and you actually go near the good life, you start to brush up against it, you start to feel consciousness, higher consciousness. You have to give up so much of your selfishness. You have to actually commit. You have to be so disciplined. So, yeah, man, it's very painful to begin with. You'll feel heartache because you don't want to give up the stuff that's comfortable. Dude, it's worth it. If you, like me, have intuition, which of course you do, I want you to really listen to that. I want you to create space in your life and I want you to be disciplined. If you do these two things with space and with discipline, you will then be able to hear your own self. You will be able to hear your intuition. This intuition of yours wants you to live a more virtuous, conscious life. But the only way that you're going to be able to do that is if you deliberately develop higher values. No one in your entire life has helped you understand this. No one models this for us, dude. You've got to figure it out. How? By becoming authentically high consciousness. It's difficult, I know, but let's go into it even more, man. What are my higher values? What are my, some of the values that I've developed, man? So my two highest values, this is really good for you to know, just regardless, man, about me, is my number one value is truth. Okay, that's a whole thing. We're going to go into it in the future, but for now, and it should be obvious, you should know that your highest value, it actually must be truth. Because, and I'll just give you a sneak peek, if your highest value isn't the truth, you're going to live from ego and you're going to dishonor God and reality and truth. If you sit with yourself, you will realize if you care, you will have to give yourself over to truth. So my number one value is truth. And my God, that is a hard one to truly have as your highest value. Because by the way, man, notice this. Your values are not those values that you want to have or that you say you have. Your values are those that you live. Your values are those that you embody. So I can say confidently now to you today that I embody truth. Because I can feel it in my being. I know it, man. I can't bullshit you with this, man. I didn't used to live in truth, and now I do. I know the difference, okay? Yeah. Now, what's my number two value, man? For me, brother, my number two value is health. I've been on a journey in the past, my whole life, man. But specifically, the past year or two, I'd say, I've really purified and refined my diet. I've finally got my sleep in check. It's still not perfect. I still have sometimes great nights that aren't that great, but I've got my diet, my sleep, and my exercise down. And this means I feel actually healthy. On top of that, I'd actually add a really core element, which is a spiritual practice. So notice, to truly feel healthy, it's not enough to just eat clean, sleep well and exercise. You actually want a spiritual dimension to health. Because health with a capital H, meaning holistic health, is actually spiritual. you will see that people who are truly spiritual, who live spiritual lives, they are healthy. They embody what health is. They are fucking radiant. Why? It's because they have this other dimension to them, which most people in the West, especially, do not emphasize. We miss this. We overlook this. We must be wise and cultivate the value of spirituality. When we cultivate this, we will start to live with spirituality. We will honor spirituality. So in other words, man, we'll actually have spiritual practice as a cornerstone of one of our main values and ways that we live. Okay. Now, what other high consciousness values, higher values can you develop? Or maybe let me speak from my experience, bro. So what have I developed in my own self? It's emotional for me to speak about this with you, by the way, man, because dude, for me to speak about this, I literally have to be in a state of discomfort. Now, as you know, man, this discomfort, it feels good. It's a nice discomfort. It's the going to the gym discomfort. It's the meditating and, focusing discomfort. It's a higher value of discipline. So I want to let you know and I want to be honest, man, that I feel very emotional, but it's good. And I want to also emphasize this, when you go from, the levels that I mentioned earlier, the kind of low consciousness, degenerate, debaucherous person to the normie person who kind of gets by, to the, conformist, to then the self-development person who maybe you see people, oh, hey, bro, do you go to the gym, bro? Do you watch that podcast, bro? To no, fuck all of that. Consciousness. Actual higher values. Actual higher living. Actual higher human development. Yeah? So this is what we are talking about here. Now, let me go back to what I was saying. What higher values have I been able to cultivate and develop? The first one, it breaks my heart to say this, man, because I know the pain that I have gone through to get, in integrity with this, and it's not been easy. And I still feel all of me and the parts of me, my ego, that's squirmy, that doesn't want to go near it, that doesn't like it, but it's this. It's integrity. The truth is, for me to be a man, and for me to run my own business, and for me to speak and actually be what I say, I have to be in integrity. This means I have to do what I say. It means I have to live what I say. Now, caveat, dude, I don't always live the spiritual lifestyle, the higher value lifestyle. I don't always live with discipline. The difference is I'm honest about that. If I'm on holiday, if I'm chilling on a weekend, and I don't really feel like living like a sage, then I won't. But I'm honest about that. I would never want to create an expectation or a standard that I need to do that, bro, because I want to live a human life that's integrated. And it's, I want to be all of myself. I don't just want to be a super disciplined sage. Yeah. So see the nuance, see the grayness, and feel into how, bro, of course you're going to have to sometimes be out of integrity. But integrity is being integrous about that, being honest about the fact that you're not always going to be in integrity. That's okay. So integrity, honestly, yes, is right up there for me. So truth, health, integrity, what next? For me, what is another one of my highest values and a higher value that I have cultivated deliberately? The next one for me, and I think you'll like this one, man. This one is an authentic one. This one is wisdom. I know that I love wisdom. I've always thought it was cool. I've always respected it. But more than these superficial egoic things, I am it. I acknowledge the depth of my soul. I acknowledge the wisdom that flows through me. to be completely honest, man, it's not always easy doing the work that I do. Now, I'll be honest, it is, in that I know that I've given over myself and my life to this way of living and this way of being. So in a sense, it is easy. I know what I'm doing, and I know what I've got to do. Yeah. However, as a human being, man, I still experience self-doubt, and sometimes, voices and negative thoughts. Yeah, man, the reason I mention it is because I want to be transparent about when I doubt myself, when I feel, not in wisdom, when I don't feel like the sage. And it happens. But then, of course, I use that value of wisdom to return to wisdom. So wisdom is saying, oh, I've fallen asleep. For me, what I often say is like, oh man, I'm self-deceived. For me, that term, self-deception or being self-deceived, is me realizing I've put myself asleep. Because that's what you realize. When you have wisdom, you understand that all of life is a mind game. And it is just you against you. So wisdom is living a more conscious life, to be conscious so that you can see through the self-deceptions. Sometimes, man, I'm self-deceived. I'm like, yep, I'm asleep and I'm not going to be able to be conscious today. Or, yep, I'm just taking everything personally because I'm super self-deceived. I'm not in my wisdom. Like, wisdom is seeing that. Okay, so the next value that I want to share with you that I've been able to cultivate, that I recommend you cultivate, is selflessness. You know why this makes me laugh, man? Is because naturally when we listen to YouTube videos and stuff, man, we listen to it for ourselves. Like, what can I get out of it? But the whole trick with this one is it's not for you. Selflessness means it's not for you, it's not about you. And beyond that, it's actually the secret to life. If you are ever struggling with anything, I want you to notice just how selfish you are being, how self-centered your mind is being. The key to living a good life, the good life, is being selfless. It is not having your ego in the way. How do we do this, man? So for me, man, the way that I've been able to achieve selflessness, honestly, is through disciplining myself. If I am not disciplined, if I'm very, very undisciplined, I'm super selfish, bro. And it actually hurts. Like recently, man, every now and then I'll just take a break from this way of living, these high standards of consciousness and discipline and stuff. I'll just take a break from it all, bro, and I'll just do whatever I want. And then, like, as I do that, and as I'm undisciplined, bro, I am in so much pain because I'm so selfish. And it hurts because I can't help anyone. But it's not about that, man. It's not about like trying to appear virtuous, like, oh, who can I help? No. It's not that. It's the fact that you have this ego that is so big and dense and like now embodied in you. Like you feel like you actually are the ego, that you can't be in heaven. You cannot be conscious. Heaven is just symbolic for consciousness, higher consciousness. Dude, no, you're stuck. You're stuck in the material, worldly plane. You feel very, very egoic. Like, bro, I'm so irritable, man, when I'm really selfish. However, no, in fact, I want to speak more on that, bro. It goes deeper. Bro, I'm so irritable and so like easily annoyed and so like triggered by stuff. Like even recently, man, someone sent me like a nice message and I was like pissed off at it for not them, because I really knew it wasn't about them. I knew it was about like the message and what it triggered for me. I was pissed off for like 2 weeks. I was like, bro, look at my mind. Like, what's gone on? I've lost myself. I've lost clarity. Right. It's because I've been way too selfish. So if you ever are like hypersensitive in a way that is, you're triggered easily by stuff, egoically, you're irritable, how selfish are you being? For me, I noticed that the more selfish I am, the more I'm going to suffer. So wisdom is seeing that selfishness does not work. This, brother, this is all of the work. It is this one insight. It is seeing that you cannot be your ego sustainably into the future. You must learn to surrender your ego and to cultivate higher consciousness. This is not fun for us, man. And I say this with emotion and like sincerity because I know how hard this is. It's not easy and it's not fun. And it's very painful because you have to purify so much before any of this is real. So the next value is to cultivate love. So love is actually the same thing as selflessness. It is the same thing as truth. In a certain sense, it's even the same thing as integrity and health. When you are in integrity with all of these other values, you will feel love. Love is consciousness. Love is being selfless. It is not having a self, and it is instead actually feeling divine. Love is actually so deep that I recognize right now, man, that I actually cannot truly tell you what it is. Because I understand. There's limitations here. Love is an experience. And love is highly spiritual in nature. So in a certain sense, the wisest thing for me to do is to not speak about it. I can walk around it and point at it, and maybe you'll appreciate that. But yeah, love is very profound and very spiritual. And love is the goal of all of our work. If you... Okay, I'll share this with you, man. Like, you know, growing up, like in my late teens and early 20s, like I haven't been free of anxiety. I've still felt like plenty of anxiety and fear as well. And sometimes, man, when I really struggle, the only thing that helps me, the only thing that can actually get me through is for me to remember love. So when I've been doing difficult things, scary things, things that kind of intimidate me, put me out of my comfort zone, I just come back to love. And you might wonder, like, dude, how do I do that? I want you to understand there's not a simple answer to that. It builds upon all of the other layers and foundations and values that we have spoken on. Love is incredibly profound. But also, love is in everyone, and everyone already embodies love. They just don't realize it. So notice, man, like recently I went to have a delicious meal with my grandma and my brother. It was so good, man. One of the best times this year I've had. And she made us this like beautiful apple pie. It was warm. We had custard. It was so good, man. And even before that, she made this beautiful homemade meal, man. It was like delicious vegetarian food. So good, bro. And she, like, I could see so much love in her, in the way that she was cooking the food, in the way that she was preparing the food, in the way that she like let me and my brother have all the pie. Like, she was just being love. She was being selfless. She was just being in the moment with us. She just loved us. And it transcends her loving us. It's her being love. So I want you to notice that love, once you get your eye in, you can actually see it everywhere. Even people being very selfish is love. But it's just a very selfish love. Yeah, man. So love is, in other words, man, like if you're stuck, just really, really feel love inside of you And you might be like, fuck, man, I can't do that. Like, I don't know how. I've got too much poison. I've got too much toxicity. I've got too much fear. I've got too much self-consciousness. How do I feel love? I'm asking you to develop these higher values so that then you can feel love. I'll give you one more example. When I started my coaching business and I'm starting to work with clients, naturally, as you do with anything, but for me, man, yeah, I felt fear. I felt discomfort. It was really tricky actually, man. Starting out because like I put so much pressure on myself. You know, I've always taken myself really seriously. And now I've got like to do this thing that like I'm putting a lot on, or I'm making it a thing, right? Right. That was how it started. It started at fear. Yes. What happens over time? It moves, it moves, it moves. It moves all the way over here to love. So now when I work with my clients, I feel love. I actually literally become more conscious. Now, my clients, I'll be honest, I work with some great people. Some people who are so good for me that they help me grow, and they actually challenge me just by being themselves. This is good. In other words, I work with people who are different to me, who think differently to me, who maybe have similar values, who value similar things, but they are different. That's good. And that helps me grow. You know, when you are mature and when you value these things, you value growth. Growth is another higher value. But even, we spoke about that self-development kind of archetype earlier, that they might value growth. But not this kind of growth that we're talking about. We're talking about growth maybe with a capital G. We're talking about real growth, spiritual growth. But this is actually talking about love. So to round off this insight and this value of love, I invite you, man. I invite you to consider that it is worth it. You will feel the most love when you give as much of yourself over. Over to what? Over to reality. Over to God. You will just start to feel love as you do difficult things, as you push yourself and challenge yourself. When I say push yourself, I don't mean to have this strain and to grind. None of that, man. See through these low consciousness, kind of like societal norms that people push and people encourage. I don't encourage you to have this strain or to grind. This will wear you down. It is more wise and more loving and more conscious to develop yourself through discipline and to actually want to grow, to challenge yourself, not to hurt yourself or cause yourself pain. Now, will you feel pain? Yes. But it's to not get stuck. For example, notice what we're speaking about today, developing these higher values, is different from the kind of pain that most people put themselves through if they're doing basic development work, if they're going to the gym, if they're cold approaching, bro. If they're doing these things, they are experiencing this pain, but like, notice how selfish it still is. It's still for very selfish ends, and that's okay, man. I don't want to demonize that. I don't want to, make that wrong. That's good. These are really good things. If you're going to the gym, if you're cold approaching, dude, well done. Well done to you, man. Well done. I respect you. But this is about something greater. I want you to start to notice, as a final insight here, that the key difference between the lower levels of development that we mentioned earlier, the kind of unconscious, low consciousness version of you, the normie version of you, or even the self-development version of you, for you to make the leap to this stage, this higher value stage, what's the difference? It's maturity. To end this video, we're going to talk about maturity. Bro, the way you do any of this is you go within yourself and you understand and you feel you can live with more maturity. If you just stop everything, you stop bullshitting yourself, you stop lying to yourself, you stop living in the cycles of normal bullshit behavior that you tolerate for yourself. There's mediocrity. If you stop everything, bro, and you just say, okay, all right, let me have a mature conversation with myself. That will help you. Okay? I have to do this, bro, every day. When you live this, you can't get away with living like a degenerate or whatever for like a month and then maybe come back to like the self-development. No, bro, no. We live this, or to speak from my own experience, I live this. So at least 80% of the time, I have to be mature and I have to have mature conversations with myself. Once you start speaking to yourself with maturity, you can then speak to others with maturity. People will see you as mature. People will respect you. And by the way, my God, this will garner so much respect. If you care about being respected in life, this way of being, having these higher values, you will command serious respect. For me, man, I try not to focus on this, but I pay attention to it when people say, like, when people let me know how much they respect me. I really receive that, because it really, like, it speaks to many different parts of me. It's, the parts of me that are still like less developed, and, the parts of me that are, selfish and fearful and worried and anxious, and the part of me that doesn't want to do any of this. When people say they respect me, it nourishes these parts, but it speaks to my higher self, my higher consciousness, self and parts. So finally, man, I want to let you know, actually, like, as I'm trying to share this, it's hard for me to really tell you the fullness of all of this. Like, I want to tell you more stuff. I want to be more open. I want to tell you about more of my own experience. I want to open up more. I want to, be like more, with you, right? But I understand this is a process. This is a journey. I am developing still. I'm always getting better. I'm always improving. This video has been more of a high consciousness, high standards, discipline, nature video. And they have their place. And I respect them. And that's why I'm delivering this to you. But, if we want to bro out on something, we'll do that in another video. We can still bro out on this, man. Like, that's the thing. When you become like this way and you find other people, like, you guys you're so developed and so, like, you're comfortable in yourself that you can, like, spend time in all different parts of the spiral. The lower stages, the middle stages, the higher stages, whatever. You can have fun. So you'll find some people, man, who are like you. And lastly, if you do very much relate to me and you connect with me and you understand me and you maybe are inspired by me, I want to let you know that you can work with me if you want to. So I offer coaching and mentoring one-to-one. If this would benefit you, man, if you would benefit from having myself as your mentor, then you can see the link in the description. You can book a free call with me. And man, we're going to wrap things up here. My friend, lots of love. Take care, man. And as always, peace.